the amazing peacock of Caledonia. Once upon a time, in the beautiful land of Caledonia, there lived a peacock named Percy. Percy was no ordinary peacock. He was the most beautiful and majestic peacock in all of Caledonia. His feathers were a stunning array of blues, purples and greens, and he loved nothing more than to preen and show off his feathers to anyone who would look. One day, Percy decided that he wanted to do something truly amazing to set himself apart from all the other peacocks in Caledonia. He spent days and nights pondering and planning, trying to come up with something no one else had ever done before. Finally, after much contemplation, Percy hit upon a brilliant idea. He would fly to the moon. The other peacocks laughed and scoffed at Percy's plan, telling him that peacocks couldn't fly, let alone fly to the moon. But Percy was determined. He was convinced that with enough hard work and determination, he could achieve anything he set his mind to. And so, Percy began preparing for his journey. He spent every waking moment researching and practicing, determined to make his dream a reality. Percy was a peacock of action, and he didn't waste any time getting started on his journey to the moon. He began by building himself a special suit with wings and a helmet designed to help him fly through the air. Next, he hired a team of mice to help him with the technical aspects of the flight. These clever little creatures were experts in engineering and physics, and they worked tirelessly to create a rocket that would be powerful enough to propel Percy all the way to the moon. As the days passed, Percy's preparations for the flight grew more and more elaborate.
He spent hours practicing his flying skills, soaring through the sky and performing breathtaking acrobatics.
He also spent time studying maps of the moon and learning about the challenges he would face during his journey. Despite the doubts and laughter of the other peacocks, Percy remained determined and focused.
He knew that if he worked hard enough, he would be able to achieve his dream of flying to the moon.
Finally, the day of the launch arrived.
All of Caledonia gathered to watch as Percy prepared for his incredible journey.
Percy strutted up to the launch pad, looking every inch the heroic peacock. He was dressed in his special suit, with his wings extended and his helmet shining in the sun. The mice scurried around him, making final adjustments to the rocket and performing last-minute checks. As the crowd watched in excitement, Percy took a deep breath and prepared for takeoff. With a mighty leap, he soared into the sky, his wings beating fiercely as he ascended higher and higher.
The other peacocks watched in amazement as Percy flew higher and higher, disappearing into the clouds.
They had never seen anything like it before, and they knew that Percy was on his way to achieving something truly amazing. As Percy flew higher and higher, the air grew thinner, and the view below became more and more breathtaking. The rolling hills and forests of Caledonia stretched out beneath him, and the bright blue sky seemed to go on forever.
Percy was having the time of his life. He loved the feeling of the wind rushing through his feathers and the thrill of soaring through the air. He flew higher and higher, reveling in the freedom of flight.
Despite the challenges he faced, Percy remained focused and determined.
He knew that he had a long way to go, but he was determined to see his journey through to the end.
As the hours passed, Percy flew on, his wings beating steadily as he soared through the sky. He was well on his way to achieving his dream of flying to the moon. After what seemed like an eternity, Percy finally reached the moon. He was exhausted and exhilarated, and as he flew over the rocky surface of the celestial body, he couldn't believe that he had actually made it. Percy landed on the moon and took a moment to catch his breath. Then, with a triumphant cry, he spread his wings and began to fly. The low gravity of the moon made it easier for him to soar through the air, and he performed a series of stunning aerial acrobatics for the astronauts living there. The astronauts were amazed by Percy's feat. They had never seen a peacock fly before, let alone fly all the way to the moon. They cheered and applauded as Percy flew circles around them, his feathers glinting in the sunlight. Percy was in his element.
He had always loved to show off, and he reveled in the attention of the astronauts.
He flew and flew, enjoying every moment of his time on the moon. The astronauts were so thrilled they gifted Percy a brand new rocket so he can return home in style. After a while, Percy knew that it was time to return home. He had achieved his dream of flying to the moon, and he was ready to share his amazing feat with the rest of Caledonia. Percy said goodbye to the astronauts and climbed back into his rocket. With a mighty roar, the rocket lifted off from the surface of the moon and began its journey back to Earth. The flight back was just as exhilarating as the flight there. Percy soared through the air, reveling in the freedom of flight and the beauty of the cosmos. As he flew, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment.
He had done something truly amazing, and he knew that he would always remember this incredible journey.
Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Percy's rocket landed back on Earth. The crowd of peacocks and other animals waiting for him erupted into cheers and applause as Percy stepped out of the rocket, looking every inch the hero. As Percy stepped out of the rocket, he was met with a hero's welcome. The peacocks and other animals of Caledonia cheered and clapped, amazed by the sight of a peacock who had flown all the way to the moon and back. Percy basked in the glow of his achievement, smiling and waving to the crowd. He had always loved attention, and he couldn't believe how much he was being celebrated. The other peacocks rushed up to congratulate Percy, apologizing for doubting his abilities and marveling at his incredible feat.
Percy forgave them easily, happy to have proven them wrong.
As the celebration continued, Percy couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment.
He had achieved something truly amazing, and he knew that he would always be remembered as the peacock who flew to the moon.
After his amazing journey to the moon, Percy became a true hero in the eyes of the other peacocks and animals of Caledonia.
He was hailed as a champion and a role model, and everyone wanted to be like him.
Percy loved the attention and adoration, and he began to think about how he could use his newfound fame to make a difference in the world. He realized that he had a unique opportunity to inspire and teach others, and he decided to open a school. The Percy Peacock School of Flights was an instant success. Peacocks and other animals from all over Caledonia flocked to enroll, eager to learn from the amazing peacock who had flown to the moon. Percy loved teaching, and he was a natural at it. He enjoyed sharing his knowledge and experience with his students, and he was proud to see them making progress and achieving their own goals.
As the school grew, Percy became more and more respected and admired. He was not only a hero, but also a mentor and a leader. As the years passed, Percy's school became more and more successful.
Peacocks and other animals from all over Caledonia were eager to learn from the amazing peacock who had flown to the moon, and Percy loved nothing more than sharing his knowledge and experience with his students. However, not everyone was happy with Percy's success. There was a group of peacocks who were jealous of Percy's fame and accomplishments, and they decided to start their own school to compete with Percy's. The Peacock Academy of Flight was a direct competitor to Percy's school, and the two schools quickly became rivals. The rivalry became fierce, with both schools competing to attract the best students and prove that they were the best. Percy was determined to prove that his school was the best, and he worked harder than ever to teach his students and prepare them for competition. He knew that he had to be at the top of his game if he wanted to come out on top. Despite the competition, Percy remained focused and dedicated to his students. He was determined to help them achieve their dreams, no matter what. As the rivalry between the two schools reached its peak, a big competition was organized to determine once and for all which school was the best. The Peacock Olympics, otherwise known as the Olympeacocks, would feature a series of flying and acrobatic challenges, and the winning school would be crowned the best in Caledonia. Both Percy and the leaders of the Peacock Academy of Flight were determined to win, and they spent countless hours preparing their students for the big event. The day of the competition finally arrived, and the tension was high. Peacocks and other animals from all over Caledonia gathered to watch as the two schools faced off in a series of exciting challenges. Percy's students performed admirably, but the Peacock Academy of Flight was equally impressive. The competition was neck and neck, and it was anyone's game.
As the final challenge approached, the tension reached a fever pitch.
Both schools had given it their all, and it was clear that the winner would be determined by a narrow margin. In the end, it was Percy's school that emerged victorious. His students had flown and acrobated their way to the top, and they were hailed as the best in Caledonia. Percy was overjoyed at the win, and he was proud of his students for their hard work and dedication. The Peacock Academy of Flight grudgingly admitted defeat, and Percy's school was celebrated as the undisputed champion. Despite his many achievements, Percy was not immune to setbacks. One day, while practicing his flying skills, he accidentally flew too close to a group of hunters who were out in the woods. The hunters were startled by Percy's sudden appearance, and they panicked and fired their guns at him. Percy was hit by a stray bullet, and he was forced to make an emergency landing. The other peacocks rushed to Percy's side, horrified by what had happened. Percy was badly injured, and it was clear that he would not be able to fly for some time. Percy was devastated by the setback. He had always taken great pride in his ability to fly, and the thought of being unable to do so was unbearable. Despite his injury, Percy refused to let his setback defeat him.
He remained determined and focused, and he worked hard to recover from his injury.
It was a long and difficult journey, but Percy eventually made a full recovery. His determination and perseverance had paid off, and he was once again able to fly and show off his beautiful feathers. Percy learned a valuable lesson from his setback, that even the most talented and capable individuals can face challenges, but with hard work and determination, anything is possible. As Percy grew older, he began to think about retiring from his role as a teacher and a mentor. He had been running his school for many years, and he felt that it was time to pass the torch on to the next generation. Percy announced his retirement to his students and the rest of Caledonia, and there was a great outpouring of love and appreciation for all that he had done.
The other peacocks and animals knew that Percy was a true hero and a role model, and they were sad to see him go.
Despite his retirement, Percy remained active and involved in the community. He continued to fly and show off his beautiful feathers, and he spent his time mentoring and advising the younger peacocks who were just starting out on their own journeys. Percy was happy to be able to relax and enjoy his retirement, and he knew that he had made a lasting impact on the world around him. He had achieved something truly amazing, and he would always be remembered as the peacock who flew to the moon. As Percy's retirement approached, he began to think about the legacy he would leave behind. He had achieved so much in his lifetime, and he wanted to make sure that his achievements and teachings would live on long after he was gone. Percy decided to write a book about his journey to the moon and his experiences as a teacher and a mentor. He spent many hours poring over his memories and reflections, and the result was a stunning and inspiring tale of determination, hard work, and the power of dreams. The book was a hit, and it became a bestseller in Caledonia and beyond. Peacocks and other animals from all over the world were inspired by Percy's story, and they were grateful to have his wisdom and guidance to guide them on their own journeys. Percy was thrilled by the success of his book, and he knew that it would be a lasting legacy of his time on Earth.
He had achieved something truly amazing, and he was proud to have inspired and mentored so many others.
As Percy's retirement drew to a close, he knew that it was time to say goodbye to the life he had known for so long.
He had spent many years as a teacher and a mentor, and he had loved every moment of it.
But Percy knew that it was time to move on and make way for the next generation.
He had achieved so much and had inspired countless others to chase their dreams and achieve their goals.
The day of Percy's farewell arrived, and the peacocks and other animals of Caledonia gathered to celebrate his life and achievements. There were speeches and tributes, and Percy was presented with a special award in recognition of all that he had done. As the celebration came to an end, Percy took to the sky one final time.
He soared through the air, his wings beating steadily as he flew higher and higher.
The other peacocks watched in amazement as Percy flew off into the sunset, knowing that they would never forget the amazing peacock who had flown to the moon. As Percy's journey came to an end, there were many lessons to be learned from his adventures and his life.
First and foremost, Percy's story was a testament to the power of hard work and determination. He had set his mind on an impossible goal and had worked tirelessly to achieve it.
No one had believed that a peacock could fly to the moon, but Percy had proved them all wrong. Percy's story also showed the importance of believing in oneself. Despite the doubts and laughter of the other peacocks, Percy had never lost faith in his own abilities. He had always known that he was capable of achieving great things, and he had never let anyone else's doubts hold him back. Finally, Percy's story was a reminder that anything is possible if we are willing to work hard and chase our dreams.
He had achieved something truly amazing, and he had inspired countless others to do the same.
Percy's legacy would live on forever, and his adventures would be remembered as a testament to the power of hard work, determination, and the pursuit of one's dreams.